All right, everybody, we are here on this Monday evening. Another night with All Elite with Keeks. It is Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are here to recap Dynasty. I am here with lovely ladies that do cover AEW. I have Miss Meeka over here to my right, and then down below me, of course, I have Miss Lyric with me today. So we'll try not to talk y'all to death today. I know everybody's gonna be covering Dynasty this week. Um, but before we get started, how is everybody doing? Miss Mika, how are you doing today? How
I'm doing
everybody
okay.
doing?
I'm a lot better. Life's been lifing, but gotta keep winning. So, you
Yes,
push forward and you keep the smile on and you keep it going. So I'm doing good.
that's good. That's all we can do at this time. What about you, Miss
Good.
Clear? How are you doing?
I'm a lot better that I'm here. So that I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I
That's real.
appreciate you guys for coming. I did wanted to invite Black Girl Wrestling, but they were at the event, and she told me I won't be able to make it in time, and I was like, okay, well, next time. But it was important for me to at least have Black women that do cover AEW, especially in this specific topic first. So we'll get into that a little bit after we cover the buy-in. So thank you everybody for joining. Now I just want everybody to know, especially in the chat, y'all keep it respectful with these ladies' opinions and their perspective on this situation. Nobody has a wrong answer. We agree to disagree, but keep it respectful in the chat, or y'all know my rules. Y'all gonna get up out of here. You're gonna be blocked and banned from my comment section. Okay, we don't do that over here. Okay, so had to get that out the way. So let's start with the buy-ins. It was on YouTube, to get people attractions so they can buy, or people using their VPNs, whatever you do what you do. So the first match on the buy-in, it was Trent Beretta versus Matt Sadal. I came in a little bit later during this buy-in match, but it was overall a good match to me. I do love Trent Beretta. I am a fan of him. I do like Matt Sadal too. So I'm gonna start with you, Lyric. What did you think of this 0 hour this opening?
It was fun. It wasn't like particularly memorable, but I don't think it was supposed to be. I think I saw a picture afterwards. This was Matt Sydal's like 25th anniversary, so I think that's why he got a match on 0 hour, which makes sense. He's been doing like a lot of cool stuff, like going to CMLL and everything. But I'm enjoying the Trent heel turn and like him coming down the ramp when the best friends were coming, like, up was a really nice touch going from one match to the next one. So I'm interested to see where that story goes.
Very much so. What about you, Miss Lyric? What did you think of this match?
Well, of course Trent is there has been a turn Trent heel uh like campaign for the past like year on Twitter, and I know because my partner is the head of it. Every time anything happens, he's gonna tweet turn Trent heel. So when it happened, he was over the moon. It was a good match, and like Lyric said, it set up exactly what it needed to set up. It set up, the meeting with OC. It set up with what happened next, and this was really just one to showcase the two of them, let them wrestle. Why not? And then push the storyline along. So it did exactly what it needed to do. It was graps, great, thanks. 1, 2, 3, next match. So
Yes, definitely the touch of Trent walking towards his tunnel, and then Orange Cassidy coming out was a great touch. Building that whole storyline with the best friends, which they'll make it a big deal eventually. It's just a
mm,
slow build to it. So now next, of course, Orange Cassidy he comes out, and then it's with Shibata versus Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty or STP. I overall like this match. I enjoy watching Shane Taylor. Like he is definitely on his grind mode. Like you could tell he got bills, he got kids to feed. Like he has a point to prove, and I saw on the AEW website that he is the SCP merch is on the top. sales. So I'm very happy seeing that. Did you guys like this match? Because I did.
I did, and I think honestly, I felt like the overarching theme of the night was the people who really did keep their nose to the grind, and eventually the hard work paid off. And I think that Shane Taylor is definitely become one of those people of just he's been able to essentially slot himself in wherever the company needs him at any given moment in time. And like if you follow Tony's booking, he typically likes to reward people who he can trust, who show up time and time again. Trent Beretta is one of those people, actually. So I think this has actually worked out really well for Lee Moriarty. Being with him, good place to put Anthony Ogogo too. And also, I love Shibata. He's one of my all-time favorites. So anytime to get to see him, it's really good. And I'm interested in Orange Cassidy again, which had kind of like wavered off for a while. So overall, I liked it.
What about you, Miss Meeks?
Now, personally, Keeks, because you've been around me when I've been around Shane. I love Shane as a person, and as a wrestler. He's just as intense of a person as he is in that ring, good or bad. And he really cares. Like, and I know that a lot of people will say it's an act, but he really cares and believes in STP. And you can see that because we have Khan doing amazing things. We have O'Shea doing amazing things on the indies as well as Moses, and even for those that were following him on the indies when he had JD Griffey with him doing amazing things. Um, the people that he touches, he truly cares about. And you can see that with Lee. Their loyalty and their hard work is paying off. Lee is proving that the only thing he needs is more time because the technicality is there. Shane, even in his losses, is coming across very strong, very dominant, very passionate. And I think that putting Anthony with them will make people care.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, I was like, okay, because we all know how that ended and how he left, and we don't have to hash that back up. So it was real interesting to see him join, but to hear him on commentary, I think it's going to give Anthony some depth that people wanted from him initially. Shibata is Shibata. You can't say enough good things about that man. And he's a workhorse for them in Ring of Honor and in AEW. So, we love that. OC, forever minor continental champion. I don't ever have anything bad to say about him. But I will say that drop kick from Shane, I know it was a roundhouse kick from Shane to Shibata. That was a moment that I was like, okay, we're going hard tonight. All right, heard. But it was a
Mhm.
great match. It was fun, even though it was intense, and even though Shane and Lee took the loss, it definitely still made them look good. It still is pushing them along, and I'm excited to see what all four of them are going to do next.
Yes, because I do pay attention to not the ratings part, but the actual demos part. And STP on Collision, they do really, really good numbers on their demos. And then seeing their weekly sales, like they're making the top weekly. So they're definitely destined for good things. And Shane Taylor provides that mid-card heel that AEW needs. So I can't wait to see what else they have in store for them. I was kind of disappointed nobody asked any questions in regards to STP at the press, but maybe they will at Double or Nothing or something. Who knows? And then after the last buy-in, it was the titles for titles. It was the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus Bullet Club Gold. Right call was made. We glad we got that over with. I would not mind seeing Anthony Bowens do a solo. Put him in the tournament and things like that. And it's time for the rapper to go away for a while. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I agree. I'm tired of this caster. I think it's time for him to be compromised to a permanent end.
Yeah.
I have been saying it on my show for the longest. Free Anthony Bowens until it's backwards. Anthony has been working on his physique. He's been getting himself in shape. He's been getting his mind together. If anybody deserves a solo run, especially with his Twitter antics, and because that was it Hart who tweeted him? Mariah May. Did y'all see that where
Yeah.
she was by the van and tweeted, "Will you scissor me?" And he was like, "Do you have a brother?" Like his character is so good that I think he could hold it by itself. We need more people in the FTW picture, in the TNT title picture. Why not? Let him go solo. Daddy ass has nothing to prove to anybody. You do whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, and let Max Caster go try Hooked on Phonics. I don't know, but
Yeah.
only thing I do hate is that we lost the Ring of Honor Trios Championships
Yeah.
during this, because Ring of Honor is still its own show and it is behind a paywall. And those belts do have history. So there were trios that were ready to fight for it. So I hate that they combined them. But other than that, of course, the match was great and the right call was made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really the match was good. Honestly, it was one of the Acclaim's better defenses since they've had the titles, but I think that I've just gotten so tired of like Max Caster, and also I think like Bowens is ready. Like Meeka said, he's been in the gym, he's been getting himself together. He's extremely marketable. And he tweeted something today that I wasn't aware of, but he is technically the last person to pin Swerve on pay-per-view from the Swerve in Our Glory versus Acclaim. So honestly, if they're looking for like some first, defenses, TV matches, eliminator matches, I put Anthony Bowens in there. I think there's no better way to see if he can perform on a main event level than, giving him a chance and running with it. So I think like he could be a really great person for one of these first world title eliminators.
Most definitely. So now that we got the 0 hour out the way, if you tune in, thank you for tuning in. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go from the main card on down to the opener. That's how we're gonna review. And since we did bring up Swerve, we're gonna get the hard topic out of the way, you guys. Okay, so the main event happened. It was Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW Championship. Of course, Swerve Strickland, he is the new AEW champion. We saw for the past, since last night, it was nasty discourse going on. It was a civil war going on. You had different, but I was just like, nobody asked the AEW girlies, especially the black AEW girlies, how did we feel? What did we think? And so I just felt like this was the perfect time for all three of us to just express ourselves with the whole situation. Now, again, if you just coming in the chat, if you do not like or you disagree with somebody says on here, don't be rude because you will be blocked from this chat. Okay, we respect it. I respect my guests up in here. I respect these ladies. Y'all will too. Okay, so Swerve Strickland. Great wrestler, talented. I give him that. It's some things that he has said that has rubbed, some people the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So, and as black women, with the whole rap thing, it did leave a distaste, and I don't know too much backstage tea. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But this is the perfect time for all three of us to give our perspectives. So I'm going to start with you, Meeka. So how do you feel, personally about Swerve Strickland and him being AEW champion?
I will start this off by saying anybody that knows me knows that I will never take anything from anybody. If they are talented, and that is that. I personally have not been a fan of him throughout his career. I didn't care for him in NXT. I didn't care for him one way or another on the indies, didn't care one way or another when he was on the main roster at that other place. Didn't really move me when he came here. But I can say that I did see the growth in the character work and the wrestling. Prince Nana, I think, is one of the best things to ever happen to him. Point blank, period. Nana is, outside of being a goofball and just a hilarious person, like out of character, definitely invested in not only him, but the Mogul Embassy as a whole, with Khan and Toa and with all of that. But Swerve has just never been for me, if that makes sense. So it was easier for me when the comments were made about Black women and when the whole podcast thing came out with, his issues with being on the Black wrestling list and this, that, and the other, for me to just say, okay, because it was already take it or leave it for me. But, it was whatever. I have met him before. It did not help the feeling. I will say that. It was not a pleasant, it wasn't memorable. It was actually kind of negative. And I was just like, okay, cool. So while I see what AEW has done, they built it. It was 100% what they were building to. It was the payoff that they needed. He did the character work to get there. But for me, I will say that it was very interesting during his character run when he started saying how important it was for him to be the first African American champion, because the personal history does not jive with what you're telling us on the TV. And so that's when it kind of got for me like, oh, okay, so you're gonna ride this because it's convenient for you now. Cool. So, celebrate it, wrestle, do your thing. Y'all Swerve, be in Swerve's house or whatever. But as far as for me and my content, and Lyric can tell you this, just like when MJF was champion and I never spoke of him on my shows, I likely will have the same abstaining for him here. And it's because while I don't have to be against you, and I will never be against my people, I don't have to root for you. So for me, I just rather abstain, let him have his title reign. I'm going to keep it respectful, and move forward because it just wasn't for me. I mean, as you can see, I got my Bad Bitches from Powerhouse Hobbs shirt on, but it just wasn't for me. So, congratulations to that man. Everybody celebrate how you like, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it respectful.
No problem. No problem. And Lyric, the same question for you. How do you feel now that Swerve is champion, and also your take on Swerve?
Yeah, so I really have, for the most part, tried to abstain from sharing my comments about this online because I feel like, one, Twitter is not the place for nuanced conversation. And I feel like this entire thing is a very complex conversation and that some tweets are only going to be the tips of the iceberg. And then two, I feel like a lot of content creators, I feel, give away stuff for free. People tune into your platforms to hear stuff like this. So it's just like giving it all away in like a series of tweets is kind of stupid. And three, I think that there's two different conversations happening here, and I don't think people realize it. There's one thing of like, you don't fuck with Swerve. That's fine. Like, like that. Listen, I don't think anybody is saying like, why don't you like Swerve? Most people, in good faith, if there's a lot of people who just genuinely don't like Swerve, and that's completely fine. Like, that is completely fine. And like, I don't think that's anything to argue. However, there's also another conversation happening here subliminally. Nobody is flat out saying it out loud, but it's heavily implied that essentially when stuff happens in AEW, it doesn't happen for real. It's nothing to really acknowledge because, oh, does that count? Because if we keep it in a stack, let's keep it all the way a stack. Yes, Swerve and all of his controversy, he won last night. I completely understand people abstaining from like saying something about it. But a lot of y'all wasn't supporting Willow either. when it comes to her, and I'm gonna be honest, Willow Nightingale is one of the successful and transcendent Black athletes that we've seen in maybe ever. She is unconventional in every way. She has gotten over purely as a baby face with an unconventional moveset, an unconventional body type, and she is a fan favorite that nobody's talking about. She's main evented pay-per-views for 2 different organizations. She is literally the inaugural New Japan Strong Women's Champion, Owen Hart Cup tournament winner, as well as the TBS champion. But she's not getting her clear due as well. So let's just keep it a spade. Because at the end of the day, I'm fully fine with nobody liking Swerve. To me, personally, I don't have a strong feeling about it because I realize wrestlers are wrestlers. I don't know these people. And so I'm not putting all my stock into these people. What I am more interested in celebrating is what Swerve represents. And that is being able to go to a company and have a company have plans for you, because we see it with white people all the time. When a company really wants you, they have plans for you. Look at Will Ospreay. Like look, even Cody in the midst of his story. Look at over in WWE. When a company wants you, they have plans for you of how they gonna get you from point A to world champion in probably a 2-year period. Have we traditionally seen that play out with Black wrestlers? No, we have not. And so that alone is something to celebrate, in my opinion, of not having to slave away in catering for 15 years before you finally get the here nigga damn title. Because that's what's happened. And then you drop it in 4 months in a squash match to Brock Lesnar. And that's nothing against the actual talent themselves, because we know how talented they are. So many of our Black legends should be 10-time world champions. And that's just real. But they've never gotten that type of opportunity. And when somebody gets it, it's all the disclaimer posts of, well, I wish I could celebrate today, but I wish I could feel this. I wish I could be. Y'all wasn't watching know-how. Like, that's the thing. You don't actually watch the show. And I think that that's why it's important for people who actually cover this to have their voices heard. Yes, Black women have every reason to be upset. And I'm gonna be honest, and it's not even so much of what was said, because some people are going around saying, well, that was a Freddie Gibbs song. It doesn't matter whether or not. It should have been addressed head on. That is actually the really big thing here. It should have been addressed. If you know you're about to get shot up in the company's superstardom, it should have been addressed. Period. But at the end of the day, like I said, this conversation is so much bigger than Swerve. It's a long-standing conversation about wrestling and race and how Black people are willing to respond to it from different companies. And let's just be real, like, a lot of people are not willing to budge on what their definition of Black excellence is. Because I guarantee you, Ricky Starks could have been the first Black world champion last night. It wouldn't have changed anything. Because guess what? Y'all boost people up on the internet and y'all say like, oh my gosh, you should come here. You should come here. You should come here. And you spam their comments saying, come to my company. Come to my company that I actually watch. I'm not going to support you over there. I'm not going to buy your merch over there. But I'm going to support, because that's what y'all did with Jade. Y'all used to spam her comments on Instagram 24/7. Come to WWE, come to WWE, come to WWE. And that's great. If you know you can have it pop into where you can go to another company, et cetera, and do that. But why should Black wrestlers have to do that to be loved? Like, for me, it's so much bigger than Swerve. It's just, it's the age-old thing over and over again. Because y'all gonna do the same thing with Mercedes and Willow main event Double or Nothing, because that's just gonna not count either. It's always something.
Yeah, because if it was Ricky, they would have been debating his Blackness like they do whenever is he really? Or if it was Powerhouse Hobbs, well, who is he? Doesn't he have a white wife? It would have always been something either way. And that's the dichotomy of the intersectionality of where we are as fans, right? Because we are Black, we are women, and we're in a business and we're supporting a business that does not support us historically. Yes, we are ecstatic that AEW only took 4 to 5 years to do what it took WWE 75 years to do, right? Great. Yes. But how are we addressing the larger problem? Yes. And that's exactly what Lyric is talking about, because We can put belts on people all day long because there were people in the comments that were saying Nyla was actually the first Black AEW World Champion.
Yes.
And then people were saying, well, but isn't she half native? Isn't she this? And so it's like, where do we go from here? So now what?
I think it's always this pick and pull. Like, and for example, and I'll be honest, I'll say this as a content creator, it's just the way that people are constantly treated make it so, like, I hate to put, like, people in the boxes and stereotypes, but it's the truth of just, I've had people flat out tell me in my face that me going to All In and Wembley and covering different pay-per-views, well, it doesn't count because it's not a Royal Rumble or it's a WrestleMania. I've had people tell me that some of you have heard this, we don't got to get into it, but some of you have actually heard that be said to me. This don't count unless I'm doing it there. This don't count unless it's happening here. It just who cares that you're the only woman on press row at the Tokyo Dome? Like, go to hell. Like, it's just constantly because Black wrestlers hear it. They might not say it on the TL, but I've heard it from some of just like saying, I feel like my own community does not support me unless I'm in WWE. And what happens then? Then you go over to WWE and you sitting in catering and everybody talks about how good you were or how good you could have been. How good you could have been. I think about people like Shelton Benjamin, right? Everybody was saying, well, looking back now, he should have been a world champion. But back then y'all said he couldn't talk and didn't give him a manager except for a mammy figure. And I think that's the difference between bringing it all back to Swerve of just AEW did study his weaknesses. And they put the different pieces in place for him to be a star. And when have we seen a wrestling company do that for a Black man? It's typically sink or swim. That mogul affiliate shit wasn't working. So they gave him a whole new faction in Prince Nana. Completely changed the trajectory of his career. It's bigger than actual Swerve. It's the culture. Same thing with Willow. Willow, this title win, it is so important. Because she is essentially the international ambassador for AEW when it comes to other partner promotions. When they go to Stardom, they send her. When they go to New Japan, they send her. When they go to CMLL in Mexico, they send her. When have we seen that for Black wrestlers? Oh, we haven't. So yes, it's something to celebrate. And I'm just, I don't know. I'm getting really frustrated about this because I would just rather people keep a spade. Of you don't see it, you are really happy with the wrestling you grew up with, and that's all that you acknowledge. That's fine. But guess what? Wrestling is still growing, whether you like it or not. And people are killing it everywhere, not just in AEW, not just in WWE. Wrestling is so much bigger than that. Black wrestling is so much bigger than that. And I think that some people just want to keep things the same. And so it's so easy to pick one scapegoat, no pun intended, and be like, oh, well, this is why I can't support them. Because if we want to look at it, if we want to really break it down and really pull out them numbers in the WrestleNomics reports, guess what? So many Black wrestlers are on TV right now on AEW. I can name about 10 regulars who are on TV just about every week to every other week. That's not normal. That's not common. But yeah, let's just pretend 6-minute matches on WrestleMania. That's the goal. That's what we're striving for. That's it. That's what we want, I guess. I don't know.
Not to cut you off, but Mr. Curvin, we don't do that on my show. We don't do that, okay? Just keep your comments cute, or you can get up out of here. But we don't do that over here. I don't care what the other podcasts do. I know people let they live chat say whatever to their guests, but we don't say whatever to mine, okay? To add on to both of you guys' point. So today I was on some funny stuff today because during the whole discourse, and both of you guys are right, by the way. But my thing is, you have people that's in the closet Swerve fans. And I was just like, they on Twitter saying this, but I'm scrolling through Instagram and they saying something totally, they calling him Big Bro Twin and all types of stuff. I'm just like, so which is it? You rock with him or you don't? Or you scared? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, it should have been addressed when it happened. I do agree with that. And I also I already knew Meeks, I already knew. So she ain't had to explain me. I already knew since day one. But the hypocrisy is all over the place with the subject. Because if it was anybody else and we've seen it, it would have been graced. We've seen people, get graced and they save grace for other people. But that's even down to content, because if anybody's seen anything today, y'all truly saw that it is a division when it comes to Black wrestling media. It's a clear division. If y'all didn't see it today, y'all definitely saw it on the timeline. It's a clear division. You have us and them, and then you have something that's base. You have something that's cool with everybody, but it's a clear division, and it has that. If you've been here since 2019, we was already automatically called coons. We was called all types of things because we wasn't WWE fans, or we was casual WWE fans. And, and then, of course, the slow thing happened and everything else happened. And so it made it even worse, which I said that he was wrong for that and stuff like that, but that made it worse. So it's a clear divide. It's hypocrisy all over the place. No, I've always said I didn't like how he said it with the listing. And I also didn't like the song lyric, whether it was Freddie Gibbs or not. I don't even know why you were quoting Freddie Gibbs. He's not, I don't get it. But that's another thing. That's another thing. But it's a shame that, because I get it on my DM sometimes, that people have to enjoy AEW via my DMs because they don't want to do it on the timeline, because how people are automatically attack us, how people are always in our comments, how people are always, on our live streams and stuff like that. Prior to, if you are a WWE, you automatically protected by certain people. And it's a clear division. Like, yeah, it's in the closet AEW fans, especially Black in the closet AEW fans. And it's sad because, I don't know. But everybody's right. If some people don't rock with him, they don't have to rock with him. Some people rock with him, they rock with him. But I do acknowledge he's very talented. He's probably one of the best wrestlers I've seen in his era. I do enjoy him. I'm eager to see the Swerve era as a champion. But
I do want to say though that it's interesting because it also goes back to what people deem as successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for some people, success is having WWE behind their name. Yep. It don't matter if they only wrestled on 305 Live and at house shows. If they can say former WWE, that is success for them, right? For some people, their success is title reigns, holding gold, holding the big championships, being those listed champions and those accolades. Then you also have the people that are in the middle, and I call them the Bryan Danielson crew, whose success for them is who they've wrestled. It's not about the wins and the losses. It's not about the belts. It's, do you see these people that I wrestled? So is it money? Is it accolades? Or is it experience? And for Black people, it's almost like for our Black wrestlers, it has to be one or the other. It can't be a combination. It has to be, well, it doesn't matter if you don't hold a title. It's like, no, that's not true. Shelton Benjamin is a perfect Cedric example. Cedric Alexander, perfect. There are so many examples of talented Black wrestlers, male and female, that may not have those accolades that could, but they're not unsuccessful. And then there's Black wrestlers who got the check and did nothing. And then there's Black wrestlers like Trish Adora, who is wrestling some of the best people in the world.
Yes.
And Keeks is making that face because she knows I don't care for that lady personally, but I give people their flowers when they deserve them, whether I like you or not. Trish Adora is showing out. The infantry showing out.
Yep.
Athena showing out. And some of those people have all three. They've been on the big stage. They've been in the big and the small matches with the biggest names and the most talented names and the most unknown names, and they've held the titles. So a lot of people and fans hold wrestlers to their standard of success, and that will negate whether or not they want to support them or they feel like they're good enough or whatever it is. Well, they never wrestled in WWE, so I mean, yeah, he's not that great. And it's like, bro, let's be real. So, we just have to. It's so hard and it's so nuanced being a Black wrestling fan sometimes because you try to see so many perspectives, but everybody is coming from every different which way at the same person. So I just want to throw that part in there just, for food for thought.
I also would like to say, like, I think that we just continue to put Black wrestlers in a box of not being able to do everything. And that is one thing that I can appreciate about, like I said, it has nothing to do with him, but it's the way that AEW built him, of being like, Swerve is simultaneously coming for the world title, but also, yes, I want to be in that conversation for best in the world too. So I'm going to have like these big matches with the Danielsons, with the Pages, like these top wrestlers in the world, because we just never see that. Even Black world title reigns half the time are just exactly that, 4-minute world title reigns. But when have like we seen people positioned as the guy? Even like the New Day in their height, that was completely organic. It's not like the company was 100% behind them. They literally they ended up making so much noise and merch sales and bootios and shit like that to where the company had no choice. But when have we really seen that large scale investment into Black wrestling? And it's not just Swerve, it's actually quite a few people that we're seeing right now, especially between AEW and Ring of Honor. Like the infantry is a great example of people who were like essentially jobbers for a while and continuously working their way up, staying consistent on Ring of Honor. Now we're seeing them on TV fairly regularly. Shane Taylor Promotions, we talked about them earlier. On the women's side, Queen Aminata, Red Velvet, talk about people who have absolutely multiplied their stock in the past 4 to 5 months. And how much of it gets covered? Like how many of it, like, and how many people are actually reaching? I'm sure I would love to see the numbers on this. How many people are actually reaching out and saying like, oh, I want to do an interview with this person. I want to do an interview with this person. No, you pretend they don't exist. You pretend they don't exist and do like, oh, I need interviews for my channel. There's multiple rosters full of women waiting right there for you to interview and want to tell their stories and want to get them out to the general public. But because they don't share the same 3 letters as you, you're not interested.
All right. So good topic. So we don't want to keep it straight on that, but good points. Definitely good points, everybody. I'm gonna definitely clip that and post that. After that match, we did have the ladder match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. It was FTR versus the Young Bucks. Before we get into the surprise afterwards, because it's still a party, Jackins. I ain't forgot. What did you think of the FTR and Young Bucks ladder match? Meeka, you go first.
Okay. Comments. Just remember, I love y'all, but I will die on my heels, and I don't give a damn. Argue with your mama, argue with your daddy, your grandma. If you need to call somebody, I got a couple numbers you can call to argue. For me, while I understand what the purpose of this was, okay, I understand it completely. Cool. This was not for me. And the reason why I say that is because it was another Bucks versus FTR. And we have so many good tag teams. We just had a tournament to showcase them. And I feel like it always U-turns back to these teams, right? It's always FTR, it's always Young Bucks, and I get it. I know the storyline. I know what we're doing. I loved that Jack Perry is back. Welcome back, my boy Scapegoat. His daddy's face was plastered all over him last night. That was creepy when Cheesecake took that mask off. I was like, my God, Jesus Lord, look just like his daddy. Hip. But please. But I I knew it was going to be a good match because FTR and Bucks always put on a good match. Great, but I need something else from from the top of that tag team vision. I need more. We have so many amazing wrestlers. I'm ready to showcase them. So I'm hoping that this now we can dead this and then we can start showcasing some of them other people because my God, we've been here 5 years and we've had 4 Bucks and FTR. It's like, all right, thank you for your service. Let's let's do something else. So good match, solid match as we all knew it was gonna be, but I'm ready for something different at the top.
Same goes for you, Lyric. What did you think of the overall match? You're on mute.
I'm muted. Sorry. I had very low expectations for this match. And the reason why is because I am a huge Young Bucks fan. But much like Meeka, I am very tired of Young Bucks versus FTR. I actually was in Wembley for their 3rd match. And I remember saying, like, I don't know, this shit was kind of ass. Like, I don't know. Like, this is, especially when you know what they're capable of. And, like, so I was kind of worried, like, maybe too much has happened at this point. Maybe, like, they'll never really, like, click and ring again. But, and then once this was announced to be a ladder match, I think I was even less excited. I've loved everything that Corporate Bucks has done. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big FTR fan, but I do acknowledge that up against great teams, they can rise to the occasion. But this match actually ended up very much surprising me. They were in an impossible position coming off of Danielson and Ospreay. And I think very, 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 very few talent in the world could have been able to have that spot and manage to bring the crowd back in. But they were relentless. Like they said, no matter what, like the crowd and y'all are, I don't care how tired y'all are going to get back into this match, and they pulled it off. So I'm a fan. I think when the Bucks are at the top of the division, I think that the tag division is typically always in good hands. Like Meeka said, I'm hoping to see some new challengers though. Like let's move forward. And this should the ladder match should like kill this definitively. Like yeah, like let's not do this again. And Jack Perry, oh, that king it felt so good to see him. They greeted him like an old friend. He was like the boy home. It was so nice. It was so
Let's
nice.
roll the footage. Let's show the footage. Show.
What is this? It's a freaking fan. Look at security.
He's so adorable. He looks just like
Baby, that smug look on his face is just
scary.
It's hilarious, but you just want to punch him because you're like, now you know. But welcome back.
Welcome back. So, welcome back, Jack Perry. Play that Travis Scott, please. I was jumping up. I was like, and then I seen the footage. Somebody posted like a footage from the audience point of view, and they was just like, "That's him. That's him. That's him. That's him." Welcome back, Jack. We are here. We are jacking off.
Jack Perry, your bitch is too bad. Your dick is too big. Your aura is too powerful. You do it.
Yo. I didn't know he was gonna play that.
Jack Perry, your bitch is too bad. Ain't that the truth, man?
Have y'all heard the whole thing? Have y'all heard the whole song before? Play the whole song. Play the whole song.
No,
Play
please.
it. Play
No,
it.
please.
Jack Perry, your bitch is too bad. Your dick is too big. Your aura is too powerful. You do everything too well. Your hair is too gorgeous. I'm in love with you, biggest of bros. I am a jack off.
Shout out to Chris.
Never
From
in never in my fucking life.
Somebody said that belong on Boondock. My kids got their mouth open like, what did we just do? Oh my God.
Oh,
Shout out to the jackets. We here.
we jacking off.
Oh God, I got real tears. I got real tears, my God. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
shout out to Chris from Pure. He made the tweet and somebody just put it in, did an AI and put it on.
My God, today.
Crazy.
AEW fans are funny. AEW fans is the funniest fan base.
Truly. People got too much time. Why would you do that?
My God, today I have left my body.
Shout out to Jack Perry. All right, so let's get to the next match, which was, I think, was the match of the night. Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. This is probably one of the best matches I have seen in my life.
I'm sorry, the comments. Please continue. The comments are killing me.
Don't worry, y'all. I will post it on the page. Yes, Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. That 10 stars. That was a 10-star match. Incredible match. Oh my God. I rewatched it while I was at work. I'm probably will be watching it again. That's whoo. Y'all have the floor with this match. Y'all have the floor.
Yeah, this one I was worried originally because I was like, this match has, it's one thing for things to have box office hype, but this had legitimate wrestling hype of like, this could be the greatest match of all time. And we've heard that sometimes it lands, but a lot of times it doesn't. So I was just like, are they really going to deliver on the hype for this? But man, they did. There's probably only maybe 2 or 3 matches all time that I can even put above this one, and all of those happen in Japan. So like, this was insane. I think Bryan Danielson being 42 and just having his best career year like right now is insane. Will Ospreay is probably the greatest athlete of our generation, hands down. This was one of those things that honestly made me as a wrestling fan think about, I give a lot of energy to a lot of shit that doesn't matter. This matters. Like, this is what being a fan is all about. Like, this is one of those matches that made me so happy to like be a wrestling fan at this point in time, because these two together, this is unreal. Like, this should not be a thing, but it was, and it was amazing. Just 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna say this first. We're gonna start with this. Bree got in that man's ass when he got backstage. I'm gonna just tell you right now, that phone was blowing the hell up. She cussed him up and down. Gorilla. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, I know she did, because what? But I will say this. Will Ospreay has this sick ability to outdo himself every time he hits the ring. Because if we think back, the match with him and Kenny was on fire, right? And that show, that's it. That's the match of the night. They did it. They've killed it. I don't know how he's going to top this, blah, 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 blah. Even his weekly work has been superior. And this, even mentally, we can say, like Lyric said, we know it's going to be a great match. Match of the century, match of the decade, match of ever, whatever. But to watch all 34 plus minutes of this match and what they did and the fever pitch that was over the crowd the entire time, the intensity was buzzing, the people tweeting that were in that building, everybody apologizing to the Bucks and FTR because they had no voice left to cheer for them after this match. What these two were able to do is a nod to what the current era of professional wrestling is. And we're not even talking about the sports entertainment era, because that other place even said that they're kind of leaning away from that. When we're talking about real graps, we're talking about wrestling, we're talking about hitting the ring and working. Not only does AEW already have some of the best people, and I hate to admit it, Don Callis family does, because Takeshita, Ospreay, Hobbs when he feels like really wrestling and not just being a monster, Kyle Fletcher, some of the most talented people rest here. Bryan Danielson said, hold my beer. Y'all got me fucked up. Let me remind you who I am. And to think that this match would have never happened because he never would have been cleared in the other place. It makes me very mindful and cognizant of how these wrestlers put themselves on the line to revive their careers regularly. And then for Will to have the respect on the scrum to say, I'm retiring that move now because that was too scary for me. Because of what happened to Brian, I can't do that. This is the gold that everybody craves in this current era of wrestling. So absolutely mind-blowing. It just amazing. If you haven't got a chance to experience it, please. Please, please, please. You're muted, sis.
Damn it.
Sorry. I was saying that the crowd said we are not worthy. I've never heard that chant before.
Never heard that before.
I was here about the crowd, man. Like that was and what you said, I think like it's one of those things that when we talking about wrestling, pure wrestling, this is the Mecca. Like, and I think that that's one of those things to where, and Will Ospreay also talked about that on the scrum of just feeling like no longer wanting to stoop to that level of just like, the discourse isn't going to come. It's always going to come. But when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to like between those three ropes wrestling, what AEW is doing right now, like the roster they've assembled, it's unprecedented. Like it truly is where the best wrestle. Like you have the best Japanese wrestler, best American wrestler, best British wrestler, and best Canadian wrestler on the same roster. That's fucking crazy. Like, that's all I got.
Poetic. And then so we're gonna get into a little women business. After that, we had AEW for the AEW World's Women's Championship match. It was Thunder Rosa versus Timeless Toni Storm. Now they had to pick up after that Jericho match, which we'll get into, but the ladies definitely deliver. I feel like it's one of the best Toni Storm's match. Something about Thunder Rosa, she gonna bring it out of the girls. Like I know Chris Statlander brings the best out the girls, but Thunder Rosa brings out something completely different out of these girls, and we see it. And this is probably one of my favorite Toni Storm matches against Thunder Rosa. And the irony of all of that with the whole issue with, Britt Baker and Toni Storm, and she's the one that is able to get those aggressiveness out of these girls to deliver a great match. What did you think about this match? I'm gonna start with you this time, Larry. What did you think?
Actually, I came into the on this card, aside from the Jericho match, this was the match I was looking forward to the least originally, because Tony's been doing some great character work, but honestly, like in ring, she's been hit or miss at best. And then, like after that match on Collision last week with Azumi, I was like, okay, maybe she's back on her bullshit. Maybe she's, she's back. The lights are back on, and she was wrestling like rent was due. This is the best match I've seen from her since, I would say, Jamie Hayter at Full Gear 2022 when she lost the belt the first time. But Thunder Rosa, like you said, she brings something out of the girls. And this was Thunder Rosa's, I think, her best match since the steel cage match with Britt Baker. This match really reset the standard that I feel that should be for the women's world title. It felt like a world title match, and a lot of the recent matches have not felt like genuine world title matches. And they also got time. They got 15 minutes and they killed it. This is one of the best matches of the night, which is saying a lot on a card this day.
All right, chat. All right, chat. Please. Those that know me, y'all know I stand on business. I don't give a damn. I'm not the biggest Thunder Rosa fan. I respect everything that she has done, especially for women's wrestling in the state of Texas. If y'all are not in the state of Texas, y'all have no idea how this woman has put her face to the concrete for women's wrestling. A lot of those women's wrestlers that y'all love in AEW came from Thunder. So we're going to give her flowers every freaking time, right? But I will say this. It felt like even though she didn't win, she landed the plane finally. The plane had been circling the airport. It had been circling, it had been circling, and it had been circling. And I kept saying, y'all, Thunder, all of this sounds good. You came back, you're talking that talk, you're looking ready, you got your face paint on, you got your roses. Land the plane. And I feel like she finally did that in this match. And as much as Thunder Rosa brings something out of the girls, what Toni Storm is doing, even when her ring work is not the strongest, because while her character work with this timeless Toni Storm will go down in history as one of the best characters ever, and I'm not being funny, but she is putting in work. Even in the scrum, she was hilarious last night, and I hated that I was actually laughing at it, right? Her character work is amazing, but Thunder made us see some of that old Toni, some of that old spunky, Toni that our girl is dressing up like. She had to bring that out because she knew Thunder wasn't going to come and play with her. Off of injury or not, she wasn't coming to play. She wanted her belt back and she meant what she said. So this 15 minutes did exactly what it needed to do. It put these two women in a beautiful light. And I think that Thunder now can decide what she wants to do with her future. And she can take it wherever she wants to take it. So I'm grateful for women's business. This did it for me. It was good, and I feel like it was paced perfectly for the card as well.
Yes, I definitely agree with that, because I was like, the next match, which was for the FTW Championship match, it was Hook versus Chris Jericho. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, during this time, that's when I was getting my girls' school stuff ready. I was listening, but I wasn't paying attention until a little bit in the middle of the match. The man hates home, obviously. Something going on, just get an apartment, do something. It's when a man refuses to go home, it's something going on. Like he just refused to go home. So now he is the new FTW champion. He does have history with ECW. And I feel like now he has this delusion And me being a day one Jericho fan, I've always been, I'm not as much now, but y'all don't understand that y'all are playing into what he's doing. And he's slick, kind of a genius for it. It may be a little bit too late, but he's in this delusion run, and that's part of his character now. So you're booing, like any reaction y'all are doing, y'all are just lighting his head up even more. He's a Scorpio, okay? So we're stubborn. He's stubborn, okay? He's not gonna go home. It's I don't know. What did y'all think of this match?
I too was distracted during this match. I used that time to I don't know, would that make a snack or something? I don't know, but I was listening. I do agree that at this point, any hate towards or distaste towards Jericho, he's using it as fuel. I don't know what it is going on in this man's home life, but he clearly does not want to return to his humble abode. I feel like this is punishment at this point. I've like the chance that they gave him was crazy. Like Jericho, they said, please retire. Like, please retire. And that crowd was great. Like, that was a great crowd. They were up for every single match. They were loud for everybody. They just hated you. I don't know. Like, maybe it's you. It just does. This goes back to like what Meeka said earlier about the Bucks and FTR. I understand the story. I know exactly what they're doing here. I know where we're going. That doesn't mean I have to like it. And truly and obviously Nielsen ratings are not everything, but purposefully tanking one of your quarter hours every week with this man, it sounds crazy to me. It's crazy seeing it happen every week. That's insane, but I digress. That's it.
Come on, Pat.
All right. I have been saying for the better part of the year that it's time for this man to give us the Brock Lesnar, John Cena treatment and go home. Part-time would be great. Continue your influence in the back, continue those things, because at this point it's not giving, to leave it simply. I can honestly say, and I made people laugh on the show yesterday, but I was dead ass serious when I said I wish that they would have used Taz and Hook in a different way. And the reason I say that is because while the FTW title is recognized, not recognized, technically not recognized, this could have been something so much greater and so much more entertaining. My idea was you have RVD, right? You have Taz. Why didn't you have a tournament? Because AEW is great at, as much as we complain that they will throw a tournament on TV for anything, they're good at it, right? Team Taz versus Team RVD. Have the training montages, have them get these young boys ready. You got promos with RVD with smoke around him, evaluating wrestlers. You got Taz going back to Tough Enough days, bringing the Hummer up to the, and make it a thing and have them fight and make people give a damn about this belt. Because if you're going to showcase it and you're going to have people carrying it around, make them understand, make them care. I'm an ECW girl. I was an ECW, WCW girl growing up. So you have some of the key people that are willing to be there and spotlight this, and the kid of one of the key people, and you feed him to the pawpaw that don't want to go home, that's doing the Tom Brady currently, and is finna lose his wife like Tom Brady did. I don't understand what we're doing here, because if we're being honest, this does not make people care about this title any more or any less. It feels desperate. It feels like giving Jericho something to do. Mm-hmm. And people still don't care when you could have used it so much more effectively. I hate that Hook lost. I wanted him to retain. And I'm not even interested in seeing what Jericho's going to do with this. It's just like, okay, all right, well,
The
then
inner
what?
child in me was crying. Like the child in me was crying because y'all know that was my favorite. So I was just internally watching and I'm like crying on the inside, like
Why are we doing this?
you're messing it up. Like
Why are we doing this?
it's
There's
such
nothing
a,
else for you to achieve. Like you've
right.
done it.
it's
You've
such a
done
sharp,
it.
it's such a sharp contrast because when you look back to 2022, the run that he had with the Ring of Honor World title, looking back, it was actually pretty good. And he actually wrestled like a lot of interesting opponents and had some good matches, you know, Ishii, Bandito. This does not feel like that at all. It doesn't feel like anything is getting advanced or elevated in the process. It just looks like this man is trying to hold on to TV as with a firm grip and knowing that everybody's rejecting him. And I think it's also one of those things too of a Chris Jericho retirement tour has a lot of money attached to it eventually. And I feel that the longer he keeps forcing himself on people and like dragging this out, you're deducting from that dollar value of that eventual tour every time because Chris Jericho is known everywhere. His name rings bells everywhere. You could send him to Arena Mexico. You could send him to Japan. You can, have him tour up and down Canada and the United States. His retirement tour, if they just took a break off of him, if they just take a break off of him 6 months to a year, by the time he comes back, you could set up like a really long, fruitful run and everybody can eat off of it. A lot like Sting. But we can't do that because he's clearly not willing to evolve. And I think that's one of those things too of like, I'm all for vets in wrestling, but you have to be willing to evolve with the business. And right now, like, he's not.
Lyric, when you said that, I just heard every black mama, grandmama, auntie saying, but we can't do that because you won't go sit down. Like,
exactly. We can't, no money can be made. None of this can be made because you won't go sit down. Like, that's what it's just like. If everybody talks about, oh, well, the run that Sting got, or even like over in Japan, like the Great Muta, like, guess what? Jericho could do something very similar and it could be huge. You got to think about how many faces and eras this man got. Like, it could be huge. People would fly from here, there, and everywhere if it was done right. But the longer he keeps pushing, he's
my
devaluing.
guy. We get you hate that lady, but we're suffering. We're suffering. Like we're suffering.
Chris, listen, Chris, Mr. Jericho. I did my own divorce. If you need somebody to do it for you, I'll file it for you, baby.
Me too.
We'll get you an apartment. I do logistics. We'll get you an apartment. We'll get the assets split. We can get your time negotiated with your ex. We can do all of that. But we need you to go sit down, baby.
Somebody back there needs
right now.
To the
we need you to go sit down. Go sit down.
What's going on?
I think it's just getting close because the thing is, we think we're mad now, guys. I want you to realize we are only
don't piss me off, Larry. Don't piss me off.
We're only going to get more upset because this motherfucker is about to demand a match at Forbidden Door. This man is about to demand another singles match at All In Wembley. And like literally, that's why I was like, if he doesn't stop now, the whole summer fucked up.
It's like the whole summer. I said it. I think it was, I don't know who it was on Twitter, but we was like, I've never in my life seen a man just refuse to go home. Like he literally has to hate going. That's why I'm like, he does not like that lady. There's something going on.
Even John
he don't
Moxley
like that lady.
went home. John Moxley
he
went
don't
home.
like that lady.
And y'all know he's always working. When Mox went home, everybody goes home. And I think that's why maybe AEW right now it's a little too flexible because like they got a lot of time on their hands compared to like other companies. Like, yes, you show up for work, but you do spend the rest of your week at home. And I don't think he likes that very much. I don't think
the man hasn't. He hasn't been in home in 4 years.
Don't go home.
He hasn't been home in 4 years. Like his family popped up on him on his birthday, and he was like, "Oh, they came." I didn't want them here. Like that's how
What
he
do you
was.
mean? What do you mean?
Like he was right at the. Oh my wife is here, y'all. Like if you check his Instagram, he do not post that lady. He don't. He do
Somebody
not.
in the comments said Mox brought home to work. He sure did. He sure did.
He did.
He
did.
sure did. Jericho, I feel like
Jericho has not. He posts his kids, but he ain't posted her, and he only posts her if the kids is right there. Like
He definitely has not posted her since all of the January 6th stuff came out.
mhm.
Because the way I had to scour Google to find her Twitter,
Yeah,
he don't want no ties to her. And that's fine, baby. We'll get you a divorce. I know paperwork. We can get it done.
maybe she gets
Quit
mad.
playing.
Maybe she
Quit
gets
playing.
mad and she's like, bro, I'm not trying to give her nothing.
Jericho, I promise.
Listen, let the attorneys work it out. We'll put you in a condo, but you got to go sit down. You
The
got
last
to go.
time-
negotiate your entire retirement tour. I'll get all the numbers, Japan, Mexico, we'll have you this, there, and there, but you got to sit down first.
Matter of fact, the last time he was at home is when he did the little bit of bubbly for the
Sure
video
was.
package. That was
It
like
sure
the
was.
last time he was home.
That
Ever since then,
And that was years
Fozzy,
ago.
Cruz, AEW, Fozzy, Cruz, AEW, Fozzy.
that man was home during
That man
COVID.
be in Canada and don't go to his own house.
He
That's
was
crazy.
home during COVID and said, enough.
Enough.
He
Enough.
was losing his mind. He was finding Fozzy, we got something going. And they like, no, we don't. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's something.
We going to. I'm going to find some.
We about to do something. And I feel like it's more of a, like, what you're doing is affecting me. And it's a whole resentment because of that. You could tell. Like, it's just, you're a Scorpio. You know how we get. You messing me up. And I don't want to be around you.
Baby, but this is crazy. He got to
This
sit
kid's
down.
life is so funny because it's just like, damn, like, none of the young kids want to even work with you no more. Like, it's just, yeah, somebody said he's from Winnipeg, and that's Dynamite in what, 2 weeks? So he's going to be featured pretty heavily. Like, that's what I'm saying.
And he not going to his house. I'm going to tell you right now, he going to stay at the hotel. Them kids going to come visit him in that hotel room. He ain't going to his own house.
Y'all, like, I'm really scared because he about to fuck up my entire vibe for the summer because Forbidden Door and All In, I feel like what's going to happen if he doesn't get somebody in AEW to work with him at All In, he's going to try to pull in Michael Oku. I don't know if you know him, but he's the current undisputed British heavyweight champion in Rev Pro. He's the one who had the match with Will Ospreay earlier this year. And as much as I want to see Michael Oku on that big stage, man, I don't want to see a Jericho singles match. That's how I felt last year about Ospreay, of like, yes, Ospreay singles match, but it's with Jericho. It's like,
Jericho, just get an apartment, please. Just get you an apartment, get your little girlfriend or something, and do what everybody else do or something.
Please.
All right, so moving on, we had the AEW International Championship. Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole. Oh, I'm sorry. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Good match. I did enjoy that. I knew that was going to come with it. So, what did you guys think of that match?
This was one of my favorites of the show. They were just beating the hell out of each other. It was stiff. It was violent. All of my favorite things. So, I was a huge fan of this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about like the angle outside of it. Undisputed Kingdom, I don't care. Personally, I probably should, but I just really don't. But Kyle and Roddy are two of the best wrestlers in the world. And so I'm excited for them to eventually run the Kyle and Shibata rematch. Like, I feel like they teased it, but I need to see it for real.
It was real grass. What about you, Keeks? Do you like this match? You enjoyed it?
Here we go. Roderick Strong y'all can quote me. I don't care. Again, your mama, your daddy. You can call and argue with my mama. She'll cuss you out. But you can call and argue with my mama if you want to. But don't argue with me. Roderick Strong with this title is as stale for me as that neck brace was that he was wearing. it's doing nothing for me. It's doing absolutely nothing for me. Is he a great wrestler? Absolutely. Is Kyle O'Reilly an amazing wrestler? Absolutely. None of these things are disputed. Yes, they're going to get out here and they're going to beat each other's ass. They've been friends and beating ass for years. But we could have just fought on the parking lot. Like, this feels like we could have just took a camera into the locker room and just let them beat the hell out of each other. Because for me, Roderick Strong with this title, and I have to include the whole Undisputed Kingdom thing because that's how he got here, right? It's not working for me. Adam Cole being back is not reviving it. It Wardlow looked bored as hell. You effectively have taken one of your hottest stars back then, before all of this in Wardlow, and stomped him out. Adam Cole's back. He looks completely unentertained.
And do we know if he's back or not, or can he just walk now?
I think he just pulled up. I don't even think he cleared. We don't know what the hell going on.
I was like, Jesus rose on the third day. Oh my God.
On the third day. The tomb was empty, baby. The tomb was empty. It just is not. And I see you, Aisha. You know you my third. I love you so much. And I know, and I'm not talking about the wrestling ability. I'm talking about everything going on around it. It's just stale. It's stale. It's stanky. If you was gonna pull the title, the thing about whether you like Orange Cassidy or not is that if you're gonna pull the title off of that man, you got to put it on somebody that can hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Roddy can wrestle, but he is not holding that title. Mm-hmm. We got to do something else. The Undisputed Kingdom got to break up. It's just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. No, thank you. Adam could have stayed home with Britt while she was cleaning the teeth. Wardlow could have kept running through walls, and Roddy could have kept his neck brace on, and you could have kept the Kingdom in Ring of Honor, and it would have felt the same. Honestly,
if we could go back in time, I'd be like, Adam, don't make that jump. It's unnecessary, bro. You kind of messed up.
I agree.
Everything.
I was going to say, I think that it's one of those things where it feels like the Undisputed Kingdom feels like a relic of an era of AEW that we're moving on from. Mm-hmm. And so, like, even think about World's End, right? Like, World's End, it felt like everybody was tired of the devil, but what was everybody excited for? The Continental Classic final, right? And so, like, it feels like the rest of the product, aside from like the Jericho verse, has been going really in that Continental Classic type era, really wrestling focused. But you have this one thing that's still a relic from this era that most of us have agreed ended up sucking. Now, some of us always knew it sucked, but the rest of y'all jumped on right around Full Gear, which is fair. I don't know. But it just doesn't fit. And right now it's just like, how much longer are we going to have to wait for Adam Cole to be healthy? And then after that, MJF is going to come back. And so, like, I have no desire to see any of this shit again. Like, I have no desire to see any of this shit.
Fire. Like, fucking fire.
Roddy and Kyle was amazing because Roddy and Kyle are amazing.
That's it.
But as far as like being invested into the story, nah. And then also the thing is, Roddy, like, hopefully, I know he has a match in DPW coming up with Fuminori Abe. Hopefully he defends the title outside of AEW. Now, that is something that I would like to see, because that's what that belt was originally created for, to be defended around the world. And so I would be interested in seeing that. But honestly, right now, I think that there's other talent who can really hold that belt, who could use it. And right now, I think that Takeshita is probably at the top of that list. Especially, he's still doing dates between Japan and US pretty frequently. Takeshita would be the perfect person to hold the international title right now. So, a great match, but I don't give a damn about the devil. I don't.
Yeah.
Let me defend myself, because Andy calling me mean in the comments. I'm not mean. So the thing about me is, okay, I do say things very colorfully, but y'all, please know, and I hope y'all are learning this about me, the people that are meeting me for the first time, I'm always going to bring y'all facts. I'm not going to just bullshit you. If I say it, this is why I feel that way. So, and everything that I have said, I will say to these people's faces. You can ask Keeks, you can ask Lyric. They know I've said these things to the rest of the faces. I don't care, and it's because I'm not being mean, but it's the feedback. It's just the feedback. So I will be the heel, but baby, I said what I said is as still as that stinking ass neck brace, and it all needs to go to hell. Kill it with fire.
And when you do, I'll be standing right there to see if you're gonna say anything else. So I can be like, I'll just be doing like the lady with the bonnet. I'm not hearing you. And I'll be right there.
Yep.
But let's move on to the next match because we still got two more. Then we done recapping because it was a lot of matches. For the TBS Championship match, it was Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart. Now we know that Julia was like 50%. She was injured, so we knew that Willow was going to win. It was still a great moment. And then, of course, after that, we did have the Mercedes. You know, she came out, kind of stole the moment for Willow. And now we're going to see Willow versus Mercedes at Double or Nothing. So what do you guys think of the whole encounter?
This one really made me smile. Like I wasn't expecting much from the actual match. We knew Julia was injured, but when you think about how many times we saw Willow challenge for that title, she probably challenged for 6 times before she finally won. Because I remember she had 4 matches with Jade. Then I think she challenged Chris in some type of multi-woman, and then Julia that first time. Watching her grow has been like one of the greatest joys, truly, as a wrestling fan, as a Black girl wrestling fan. And I think that what she's built for herself, she hasn't even scratched the surface of what she's capable of. Her being Mercedes' first match is 100% a great call. And I think that if anybody watched their match from last year, they know that the history's there. Like, this is going to Double or Nothing takes place like a year and 5 days after the original resurgence. I think we're looking at our first AEW women's pay-per-view event. They're going to have to build it really well. It's going to be hard with, Mercedes not being able to wrestle. But I think that they can do it. And it's not even all about Mercedes. It's a lot of the fact is because people really love Willow. She's very over. And she is the top babyface, I would say, in AEW, period. So I loved it. It was great to see her crowned. And I'm very excited for Double or Nothing. And I don't care who tries to discredit it. I will be very loud and proud about this one.
Yeah. What about you, Meeks? Go ahead.
Y'all know, like Keeks knows for sure how I feel about Willow. I adore this lady and have for so long. The fact that she is as good of a person as she is in the ring, like that to me is one of my favorite things about her. But I will say this, and I said this yesterday, but Willow winning this title is going to breathe a fresh life into this title that we have not seen yet. And the reason why I say that is because the title went from Jade to Chris to Julia, right? Kind of a dark, dominant, tough, vibe. And we're moving into an era where this title is gonna be, I'm gonna smile, but I'm gonna beat your ass while I'm doing it. And we gonna dance after, and I'm gonna dance before. And when we dance in this ring, I'm gonna put my foot in your ass. And I'm excited to see that. I'm praying against all wrestling gods that they don't switch the title quickly and put it on Mercedes. We all know it's a possibility. We don't have to speak on that. But what Willow is about to do, I think, is going to be something that's going to go kind of down in the history of AEW with this title. and being the face of this title and TBS. And I'll also add on, I cackled when Athena tweeted what she tweeted after the win, because it's the recognition, like Lyric said, of the grind. If y'all didn't see it, Athena literally was like, well, damn, that hussy did it. Congratulations to Willow. And she posted the gif of them celebrating after they had main evented in Ring of Honor. And it's just a testament to an unconventional, good fucking person beating ass to the top and not compromising who she is. And that to me is what I hope all of the little thick brown girls that are wrestling fans. Now we have the Willows and we have the Brooks and the Faye Jacksons, and we have our plus size Nia Jax, and we have these beautiful plus size women that are doing it. But Willow is showing you can be dominant and still be happy, and you don't have to be this like brick wall Brock Lesnar type of thing. And so I love it. I love everything about it. And we're gonna see, hopefully the build is great with her and Mercedes.
Yep.
Women's business. Yeah.
I was gonna say that currently they're the only two women in history to ever main event pay-per-views for two wrestling organizations. So if they get this done in Double or Nothing, they will simultaneously become the first women to ever do it with three. So like, so this is beyond wrestling history for like Black women, for women, period. Like this has never been done. Like this is huge. This is monumental. Like, and I hope that people treat it as such. But honestly, even if they don't, like, I think that this is the time for like AEW content creators, specifically Black people, specifically Black women, of like, this is where you really let it rip with your support. Like,
we stepping.
Absolutely. Because I think, like, let's just be real. Like, nothing comes easy. There's always going to be a fight to get a main event or a top slot. And so, like, now more than ever, like, these women need and deserve, your support. They've earned it. Like, they've earned it. Like, what anybody got to say about Mercedes, of just like, the career speaks for itself. Like, she don't got to have a match yet. Yeah, because guess what? That's what S tier people do. You saw when Okada walked in, AEW had in 2 weeks got a title. That's the type of time that we're on. And I know we're not used to seeing that from women, but yeah, she can do that. So I'm excited. I hope that they make history. And there's going to be a lot of work from the content side heading into the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a lot of work.
I'm ready.
But I'm ready. Yeah.
War ready. I am war ready. War ready. All right, so let's get to this next match. It was Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe versus House of Black. It was some stinkers in this match. It was two stinkers in this match. One of them was Adam Copeland, and the other one, Mr. Master Black. I don't know what's going on with bro, but I wasn't feeling this match at all. And I felt like Eddie Kingston wasn't feeling it either. He looked like he wanted to knock Adam Copeland out, and I feel like he eventually will. I'm sorry to the Adam Copeland fans. I tried to give him a chance, but I ain't giving him the 5. I'm not. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I am a huge Adam Copeland fan, admittedly. However, I am not going to delude myself and say this was his best performance, particularly AEW. But honestly, this was nobody's best performance. I'm not even gonna lie. I wasn't clued in on this match as much as I probably should have been, because I was still reeling from the Okada Pac match, like just still trying to get my thoughts together because my mind was so blown. However, from what I did see, I wasn't particularly enthused by this 6-man tag. I kind of felt like there are other matches that probably could have been on the card instead, but yeah, Malachi, he doesn't do it for me. I'm gonna be honest, most of House of Black doesn't do it for me. Aside from Brody and Julia, I'm not really enthused about House of Black at all. So yeah, I wasn't super high on this match, but I was also really distracted. So, oh well.
Go ahead, Meeks. The floor is yours, Pastor.
It's Brody or nothing. I'm gonna just say it. It's Brody or nothing. Uh, I'm sorry, y'all. This is my little sister. The ragtag bunch on one side, House of Black with Malachi, who's clearly not mentally back. Um, I'm glad it was where it was, because if it would have been anywhere else on the card, it would have tanked even worse. Um, I,
It should have been a buy-in.
I will say this: put that belt on Brody. I mean, because at this point, that's your leader. That is your leader of House of Black. And I know it's hard for people to upset. Brody's that guy.
Yeah.
So
Because that's who stood out to him and Mark Briscoe. And then Eddie looked irritated, and I don't know what Adam Copeland was doing. He was, I don't know. But Brody stood out for me. But overall it was like, okay, this match is going on a little bit too long. I don't know. But last match on the card, and it was the opener. Great openers, by the way. It was perfect opener. It was for the AEW Continental Championship. It was Pac versus Okada. I did enjoy the opener. It was perfect. They got it right with that one. Something about AEW, they do really good with the opening match. Like, they pick a good opener, and always, to me, I'm like, whoever opening, that's like I feel like the theme of the entire card. Like, if they hit it out the park with the opener, then the rest is gonna be good. But I loved it from beginning to end. Shout out to Pac. I do love him. I hope he stay a little bit committed more in the States, just for a little bit. I know his home is back in the UK or whatever, but I want to see more of Pac. I love him.
This was one of those matches. I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to be a wrestling fan. Like, imagine somebody telling you 4 years ago that like this would be happening. It was just incredible. And I feel like for people who don't watch New Japan, who aren't as familiar with Japanese wrestling, this is the first introduction to the real Okada. Because to be honest, Okada doesn't wrestle typically anything less than 20 minutes. Like, he's used to going 20 plus minutes just about every night. So like TV wrestling in that regard, he's still adjusting. But this gave him the opportunity to really dive in on all of his heel antics and all of his Okada-isms. And I think what separates him and makes him so world class is that the language barrier doesn't seem to affect him because he's so good at communicating in other ways. His emoting is amazing. His body language is top tier. He's just transcendent, and Pac is just so good. Like, and because we don't see him as often, sometimes due to his schedule, it's easy to forget that he's just as world class as a lot of these other guys that we're seeing in AEW. But this was just an absolute dream. This is another match I'm going to go back and rewatch. I'm probably going to rewatch Dynasty tonight, not going to lie. And going back to what you were saying about the opener, card ordering is a skill. Card pacing is a skill. And I will say this was one of the best paced pay-per-view cards I've ever seen. Like, every time there was a super hot match, there seemed to be like a match right afterwards that you could either cool down on or could pull you back into. Like, this card was paced very, very well. And also great crowd that stayed hot from this up into through the main event. But this was special. I loved every second.
I hate this belt. It just is what it is. Sorry, I don't. Having Eddie Kingston fight for his life for 3 titles and splitting them up, wild. But anyway, this match I feel like was placed here for the AEW faithfuls. And the reason why I say that is it was wrestling. And the one thing that you hear these tribalists scream from top to bottom is that AEW is wrestling. So they started this card with a match that whether you know them or not, whether you are invested or not, you're like, oh, they are beating ass. The wrestlers are wrestling. And so that's what I enjoyed about it. Pac I'm still a little on him, but it, the match was great. You cannot deny that they had good chemistry, they worked well together, and they set a good tone for what to expect for the rest of the show.
I love the crowd was cheering, "We love you, bastard." What was they cheering? They was saying something like that after the end of the match. "You're our bastard," or something like that. St. Louis was on one.
They say he's our bastard.
St. Louis was on one last night. It was definitely a great crowd. Texas would have been better though, but it was a great crowd. Great crowd. We still beat that Texas pay-per-view.
I will say I wish somebody had asked that in the scrum though, because especially now that they've revealed the entire schedule for the year. I'm not even from Texas, so this is completely unbiased, but do you know how many times that Texas has showed up and showed out for AEW and to not have a pay-per-view at this point is kind of crazy. And
we have asked, and he was like, well, and you know how Tony will dance around the question. Yeah. And he danced around it and never really answered it. So, I mean, we've asked. We absolutely have asked. So maybe he'll listen.
New York don't deserve nothing.
New York get everything. And I say this as a Southerner, like, I'm never going to get a pay-per-view here in South Carolina. I was very lucky for Revolution to be in North Carolina. So I know, like, we're never getting one here. But, like, Texas deserves more. I will admit that.
All right, so that was the Dynasty card. Before we get out of here, Meeks, what was your match or moment of the night for you last night?
I have one and one. So match of the night for me, I think we can all agree it was Ospreay and that we don't even need to discuss that. But my moment of the night was actually the promo that Julia cut after losing. I don't know if anybody's gotten to see it.
Ooh.
It was very short. It was very brief, but it was so effective. And our leader, because I called it, Brody, was the one to console her, and he said one thing. There was only one word said in the whole promo. Rebuild. It's time. It was so intense. It was so beautiful. It captured Julia's emotion. And I think it's time for Julia to hit a new gear. And I think that's going to do it. So if you haven't got to catch it, go find it. My favorite moment of the night. I mean, of course, other than Shane Taylor. But yeah, that's it for me.
Same question to you, Lyric.
I will have to agree that match of the night, of course, is Ospreay Danielson. That's probably the match of the year, just to be quite honest. But as far as moment of the night, there were so many that I really loved. But the thing that stuck out to me when I woke up this morning was really Tony versus Rosa. I think that a lot of people did not expect them to have a great match. I think some people were like rooting for just decent or let's hurry up and get this over with. But they genuinely had a great match. And I'm excited for Toni Storm's future because the company is clearly behind her. She gets a lot of TV time. The investment has been there. But now if the in-ring is now on fire, she's a problem. She is not a problem. She's the problem. And so as a longtime Toni Storm fan, I'm really excited about her future.
And my answer, of course, is Danielson and Ospreay. And the moment, of course, it is to the Jackins. Play the song one more time before we get up out of here.
Jack Perry, your bitch is too bad. Your dick is too big. Your aura is too powerful. You do everything too well. Your hair is too gorgeous. I'm in love with you, biggest of bros. I am a jack off.
Shout out to all the Jackins. We here, we rise. And I am so interested in seeing what they're gonna do with Jack Perry. AEW girlies, I feel like we getting that Jack Perry versus Adam Page. I don't know. I feel it in my spirit.
It's coming.
That is coming. Oh my. I'm gonna be in the doghouse. But it's okay. It is okay. Meeka, I'm gonna see you.
I got real goddamn tears. We can't play that no more, bro. Right?
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Make sure you follow these ladies. Their handles are under their hashtags. And of course, thank you guys for coming into the show. I do appreciate you guys. You guys are my friends. I respect you guys. And thank y'all for keeping it respectful. We only had to block one person in the chat, and that is cool. I'm like, yeah. But it is 9:45, and we up out here. Hit my getaway music.
First of all, there's no such thing as white-collar crime. And there's definitely no such thing as black-on-black crime. Crime is crime. Let me explain something to you. I don't care if you have a white collar or a tank top. If you rob me, I'm going to whoop your ass.